Hey guys, we're going into our organelle relationships right now. The cell membrane versus the cell wall. Once again, sorry about the voice. Not feeling so well. Looking here, I need you guys to, before you start the video, I need you guys to answer these relationship questions at the very end of your packet. This first one says, how do you think the cell wall and cell membrane are similar? I need you to answer that here at the back of your packet. Then you need to tell me, how do you think the cell membrane and the cell wall are different? You need to answer that here at the back of your packet. Once you're done answering those questions, go ahead and hit play. So press pause now and answer these questions. When you're ready to go, you hit play and you go back to where we left off. So you just finished taking these notes and you just finished writing the summary. So now we're down to cell membrane versus cell wall, and this is on the bottom of page 2 in your packet, or the back side of the first page. Let's go ahead and jump into these notes. Let's review the cell membrane. This one we have got to have down. We've been doing a lot about it. You just watched an entire PowerPoint about it. It is the outer layer of the cell that keeps good stuff in and bad stuff out. It protects the cell. Now, when your cell needs some things to get in, they use proteins to let the good big things into the cell. An analogy or an example in everyday world of what a cell membrane would be, it'd be like a bouncer or a security guard, or the walls inside the building framework. Now let's take a look at the cell wall. Provides structure and support for the cell. Doesn't keep good things in or out. That's not its job. It's structure and support. It's like this framework over here for this building. Provides structure. An example is the foundation and scaffolds of a building. Inside of your cell note cards, make sure you label the different parts on only one half. The other half needs to stay blank. So here we have our cell membrane. It surrounds the cell. Here we have our cell membrane on the inside and our cell wall on the outside. Remember, the cell wall goes around the cell membrane. Notice there isn't a cell wall in the animal cell because animal cells don't have cell walls. Only plant cells do. Go ahead and write down the similarities. Press pause and then hit play when you're ready to continue. Similarities between cell wall and cell membrane. There aren't very many. Both the cell wall and cell membrane surround the cell, and both are in plant cells. That's really it. Now the difference is there's a lot of them. The cell membrane protects the cell by choosing what gets in, the good stuff, and what stays out, the bad stuff. The cell wall is called porous, or it has holes in it, and things can go through the cell wall easy, good or bad. The cell wall provides a rigid structure for plant cells that allows trees to grow tall and bark to be hard. Cell membrane is fluid, which means that it is not rigid. The cell membrane is flexible and can move. This is why your skin is a little squishy. The cell membrane is fluid and flexible, while the cell wall is hard and provides structure. The cell membrane is in all cells, plants, animals, and bacteria, while the cell wall is only found in plant cells and some bacteria cells. Now, I think the best way to compare the two is to look at the structure of a house versus the outsides of the house. Now, this right here is the framework of a building, the scaffolds. This is the foundation of the building. That's like the cell wall. It's hard. It provides structure. Without it, the house would crumble. But the cell membrane is like the glass or the walls on the house. That's what keeps the bad stuff out. This provides all the structure, but you can get in real easy. You can walk right through that open air because the cell wall, we said, is porous or has holes, just like the scaffold does. The cell membrane, on the other hand, is closed off. Only things you want in, things that have the keys to these doors, the proteins in the cell membrane, will be able to get in. So, that right there is an example of our cell membrane. Here's our question. How are the cell membrane and the cell wall similar? Check all that apply. So for every answer that you think is correct, you need to check off. But make sure you don't check off correct ones. A, both the cell wall and cell membrane surround the cell. B, both are in plant cells. C, the cell wall and cell membrane are both in animals. D, they both protect the cell by letting good things in and keeping bad things out. Or E, they both make energy for the cell. Question 2. How is the cell wall different from the cell membrane? The cell wall surrounds the cell and the cell membrane is inside the cell. The cell wall keeps good things in and the cell and the bad things out, while the cell membrane supports the cell and gives the cell a rigid structure. C, the cell membrane keeps good things in the cell and bad things out, while the cell wall supports the cell and gives the cell a rigid structure. Or D, the cell wall is only in animal cells. Question 3. The picture above represents a cell blank because the cell blank, and you got to finish that sentence. A, the picture above represents a cell wall because the cell wall protects the cell. B, the picture above represents the membrane because the cell membrane protects the cell. C, the picture above represents the cell wall because the cell wall provides structure for the cell. D, the picture above represents the cell membrane because the cell membrane provides structure for the cell. Good job. We're done with cell wall versus cell membrane. Move on to the next video.